Hey, Nick here with Stay Rad Design. I'm back. I had one of my clients, they um, needed a quick graphic sent over to them in a certain format for a banner that they're doing. They're holding an event for their business this week, so they're getting it overnight printed and just wrap that up at 7 p.m., 7:10 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. But as I'm wrapping this up and gonna send it over to the client, I had a thought of just something to share with y'all. This isn't a scripted thing, but these are some of the biggest books that have helped me, or resources that have helped me in my freelance graphic design journey. I'm 27 years old. I have been married for over 5 years. We just had our first baby. He's a young man, Nick the third, actually, and it's been incredible. But we both, I have a full-time job. It's a big boy job. And we also run a marketing company outside of that, which there's time there. We have our baby, we've got family. We're busy people. We're quote unquote adulting. But in my opinion, I think adulting is actually managing your time, and not only that, but stewarding your time wisely. Clinging on to just idle time is not a mature thing to do in general. But being productive, but also resting. Resting is necessary. All this stuff. It's really easy as in graphic design, because you can do it from your computer, you can do it from home. All this, you could put I got my noise cancellation here, and this is, by the way, I'm not sponsored or anything, but these Sony XM5s have been one of the number one investments for me working from home for my job, but also with freelance graphic design. Dude, the focus is unreal. I know everybody's like, oh, I'm ADHD. Yeah, so am I. You figure out tools to use that superpower instead of use it as an ailment. Sorry. But here are a couple books that have really helped me out. I'm not sponsored by anything. As you can tell, this isn't like some edited platform. This is uncut, unfiltered. There you go. But number one is Made by James, The Honest Guide to Creativity and Logo Design. This dude, James Martin, is a brilliant logo designer. He's in Europe, so he says brilliant. But this dude, he just gives it to you straight here. And this actually changed my mind on a lot of the perspective. It changed a lot of my perspective on the graphic design community. I can be fairly critical of them because they are so critical. But I have a high-level corporate sales background, and I just entitlement is just not something that works in sales. You're not entitled to earning any of your customers' business. You have to earn that every single day. And so when I came into the design world, I was like, it's hard for me to relate. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of entitlement. Not everybody, and I don't want to be too critical, but he talks a lot about the hustle culture of starting a design agency, his mentality around everything, and it really made me realize how a lot of these graphic designers out here are actually really in tune modern entrepreneurs, man, and they're good at what they do. So, and it helped me identify a lot of my graphic design process and in that process of establishing relationships with clients. The second book is, of course, Logos That Last, Alan Peters. This guy, this is what I'm talking about. He has unintentionally divided the design community. I'd say from what it seems like, half of the design community hates him because he uses mean words. I'll probably get some flack for saying that, but and they don't like his style and everything. But this dude is brilliant. He outlines some of his process, his inspiration sources for finding logos and creating logos, and also some of the guidelines that he uses himself. And it's extremely helpful. I really like Alan Peters. James Martin, he keeps it real. He's very straight up, and the dude has indescribable passion for serving the design community and honestly serving others. You can see that in his words, you could see it in his passion, and you can see it in his actions 100%. Alan Peters, to me, my perspective, he's just an honest dude who loves what he does and he shares it along the way, but he's also very intentional. Both of them have a supreme level of intentionality that I just appreciate on so many levels. Alan Peters' genius that I think, from, again, my perspective, is he doesn't market to the rest of the design community. The rest of the design community likely are not going to be your clientele. So why are you constantly seeking their approval? That was an issue I had, and I didn't even realize it till I started studying Alan Peters. He has marketed to day-to-day families. There are families that watch his reels with their kids. It's just like a fun thing. Those are small business owners. Those are future business owners. Those are people that know business owners that will refer them. This dude is solid, and he also seems to be a strong family man, which I appreciate as well. Here's the last one. The Gap in the Game. This has nothing to do with graphic design, but this is a huge book. It's the High Achiever's Guide to Happiness, Confidence, and Success. For me, my personality, I'm a type A, very choleric is one of the psychological terms for it, whatever. Personalities, the commander, whatever personality test, and I naturally gravitate towards achievement, and I could be a workaholic, which every personality and stuff like that has its pros and cons. I'm not saying that's like great or whatever. I've certainly had to learn my boundaries and learn how to govern myself in those areas, right? So that being said, with the Gap in the Game, when you start freelancing, it is so apparent the gap between where you're at and what you see on social media. When you compare yourself to these big dogs, for these folks that already have a lot of traction on social media, it can be inspiring but simultaneously discouraging. And so the Gap in the Game talks about the gap between where you're at and where you want to be, and really how to stay in the game, how to manage that, and where your focus should be internally around your goals and your pursuits, so that you're not discouraged by the gaps in your life, how to actually tackle them so that you psychologically maintain peace and don't freak out. And above all, so you don't freaking quit because of fear or something that is not truly as big of a factor as you think it is, right? So that's been huge, and really helped me not stress and freak out about where I'm not, but actually appreciate how far I've come. Huge book. Here's a little bonus book I want to go too crazy. Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. Again, not sponsored by any of these books, but Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, huge, great mentality. And Darren Hardy as a whole, he's just an incredible author, but really good insight into maintaining, not riding the emotional roller coaster of entrepreneurship. If you're freelancing, you're an entrepreneur. Or that's a form of entrepreneurship. And a lot of these books have helped me, all four of these have helped me view my freelance side hustle journey truly as a business. And it's unlocked a lot of opportunities. It's taken stress off of me, and it's also pointed me in the right direction. So figured I'd share that with y'all. I'm going to get this over to my client. With that, stay rad.